first players, 7 and 2, number 16 and 17 respectively here on our Season 4 leaderboard. I swear, for Caleb Scherer, it's always number 17.
It's true.
He's always got one bye, and he's always just short of a second bye. As top 16 on the Open Series leaderboard will get you 2 byes coming into a tournament. Top 32, that's 17 through 32, will get you 1. So Scherer with 1, Jessup with 2, and we are underway here as Andrew is going to start things off with a Green Sun Zenith, search himself up a Dryad Arbor, and now we head back Caleb's way. Pretty clear right now for Caleb. You know exactly what you're up against.
Yep.
And also, for what it's worth, Andrew does play Elves quite a bit. Here's a Preordain for Caleb, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit as Caleb does resolve the Scry here with Preordain. If Andrew knows what he's up against, Caleb plays Storm in basically all formats that he can, in Legacy, in Modern, and he does have an invitational top 8 to his name with Storm.
Magic Hall of Famer Ben Rubin often refers to tech or unexpected cards as being a little bit of filth.
Okay.
Caleb got a little bit of filth in his deck.
Ooh, what do we have here?
A rain of filth.
We're off to a great start this morning.
Yeah, we are.
That's like a ritual effect.
All your lands gain, sacrifice this, add a black mana until end of turn. So it's a bootleg dark ritual. It also helps with achieving Threshold with Cabal Therapy in one turn. So you can play that, sack your lands, now you have some mana floating, now your Cabal Ritual's worth 5 mana, blah, 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 blah. Only 1 copy here. Definitely don't want to draw a second copy of this card, but that's another ritual effect.
Jessup's turn's a pretty explosive one there. Heritage Druid, Birchler Rangers, Borsler Ranger, and Heritage Druid, they'll tap for a green mana so that Jessup can play a Wirewood Symbiote. His land for the turn is a Dryad Arbor. He'll pass the turn back. He's obviously in search of a card like Natural Order to finish things off next turn, while Scherer is going to sacrifice a Polluted Delta.
And really the only thing that Jessup can do in this matchup game 1 is try to kill on the 3rd turn. The Elves can do that a good percentage of the time if they're not disrupted, but he has no discard, he has no interaction. All he can do is present the fastest possible kill. That's why the matchup is rough for Elves game 1, is Storm just does this much faster.
Underground Sea is the weapon of choice here for Caleb. We're going to find out what's next here. Is it go time? Well, Lotus Petals, Storm 1. Oh, dear. I have a feeling that Andrew Jessup might be dead on turn number 2. It's an attempt at ad nauseam with no mana floating, and Caleb has played a land, so perhaps he needs to get a little bit lucky here.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the best position for taking an ad nauseam. We don't exactly know what's in Scherer's hand, so if he's got petals and so forth, this could be a little bit better, but this is no luck to be able to win the game this turn.
Let's count it down. 18 from Gataxian Probe, 14 from Tendrils of Agony. We'll make it 13 from the Gataxian Probe. Lotus Petal's a big one. Lion's Eye Diamond's not bad either. 12 from a Brainstorm. A lot of lands so far. 11 from a Ponder. 10 from a Probe. 8 from a Cabal Ritual. Now, I believe Caleb does have an Infernal Tutor in hand. He's going to have to keep going. 6 from an Infernal Tutor. Is he willing to stop just yet?
Well, I don't think he's got anything in the deck that kills him at this point.
He's already found his Tendrils. I assume there's probably a Past in Flames floating around.
He's got 2 copies of Dark Petition, and that changes the calculus a little bit here.
That one costs 5. Doesn't want to run into one of those. And right now with the probes, those are going to have to be cast via life.
Right.
So in a weird way, those actually deal you 3 damage. 1 for the casting cost from Ad Nauseam, and then 2 from the alternate life. So you might have to keep going here. Lotus Petal's nice.
Well,
Stays at 6.
I think Lotus Petal may get him here, because now he has 2 Lotus Petals, which can kickstart the Cabal Ritual, and he's already cast some spells this turn. I think he can just natural Tendrils from this spot.
2 Lotus Petals will bring Storm up to 5. Keep in mind, no mana floating right now for Caleb. He'll break both of these. Cabal Ritual, that's spell number 6. 5 black mana floating now. Lion's Eye Diamond, spell number 7.
I mean, he can simply cast the Gataxian Probes if he wants to.
Yep.
He's got this sewn up now.
Probe will be spell number 8. He'll have to pay 2 life to do it, so he's going to fall down to 4. You see Andrew counting along. I think he knows he's dead as well. Yeah. Jessup's going to show him his hand, which is actually just perfect. There's a natural order and a forest to be able to kill on turn 3, which is the best he can hope for. Here's an Infernal Tutor. Going to crack this. Lion's Eye Diamond.
I guess he's going for Past in Flames now and flashing back the Tendrils.
Hey, as long as he doesn't goof.
Yeah,
I don't care what he does.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got no red mana floating, then this is a big goof.
Yeah. So he's going to go down to 3. He's going to have some red mana floating, so he's going to have 6. This is spell number 8.
And then with the Past in Flames, he can re-up on his rituals.
All right.
Recast the Tendrils.
Yep. No mistake there.
Yeah.
Looked a little strange, but he's clear for takeoff.
There was a moment there where I was worried maybe Kill Up had not announced Lion's Eye Diamond for red mana or whatever, but he's got it. Turn 2 kill. No fuss, no muss.
Must be nice. Caleb Scherer off to a great start here this morning against Andrew Jessup. Storm up a game here against Elves. That means we're going to take a look at our sideboards here. And we'll see what Andrew Jessup is working with. Sideboard for him, typically discard for Elves players, and Andrew does have it. 3 Thoughtseize, 3 Cabal Therapy, 3 Abrupt Decay, and some one-ups here, and Pithing Needle, Null Rod, Scavenging Ooze, Reclamation Sage, Sylvan Library, and Progenitus.
So the 6 discard spells absolutely coming in here. Gives Jessup some interaction, which is important. I also think you can bring in the Null Rod, as Scherer generates a lot of his mana via artifacts. I think the Scavenging Ooze is not a horrible flex slot here, as the graveyard does matter a little bit, but I would not sideboard all that heavy. So even though Scavenging Ooze has some utility, it's probably not worth cutting Elves or other combo pieces.
For Scherer, he's got 4 Abrupt Decays, 2 Empty the Warrens, 2 Xantid Swarm, 2 Chain of Vapor, 2 Disfigure, a Cabal Therapy, a Rebuild, and a Tropical Island.
If I knew Jessup's 75, I would just present the same 60. I would not sideboard any cards.
Okay.
If he respects the possibility of something like Gadok Teague, he can bring in the copies of Disfigure, and Disfigure's a fine piece of disruption to slow Jessup down anyway, but I would probably just keep the same 60 intact if I was in Scherer's seat.
Well, Caleb is taking a look at some things here, and we will find out soon enough if he does keep that same 60 intact. In the meantime, we're going to take a look at that Season 4 schedule. Not a lot of time left here in Season 4. We're in New Jersey here this weekend where we will crown a champion. Someone's out of here with $5,000, 25 Open Series points, an invite to our Season 4 Invitational. But next weekend, we go to Denver for the first time in a long time.
It's been a long time since we've been to Denver. That will be our last Open Series event of 2015, and then the Season 4 Invitational, Las Vegas, Nevada. Standard and Modern as the Invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event. That's December 11th through the 13th. Then a week later, Players Championship, Roanoke, Virginia at the Star City Games headquarters, December 19th and 20th to close out the year.
Of course, for all of those events that are left, and that's all one of them in Denver, you can get the Hop and Rabbit Master playmat. It's free, limited edition. Simple stuff. You sign up for the tournament, you get one of these, but your last chance is next weekend.
Absolutely. So if you want to get your hands on this playmat, head over to Denver, play in the 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event. When you register for the event, you will receive this playmat free of charge.
Hopefully we'll see you guys at Denver or that Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas. I have a feeling we're going to see at least one of these 2 players here, and Caleb Scherer and Andrew Jessup. Caleb Scherer is the player we will learn a little bit more about right now, as he is up a game, typically playing Storm in all formats. He, of course, did have that Invitational top 8 in Seattle during Season 4. Dylan Donegan did win that tournament. For Scherer, that was really his crowning achievement last year. He's also got 1 Open Series top 8 on the resume. For him, it's oftentimes very close, but coming up a little bit short, unfortunately.
Yeah, his results, if you scour the top 16s and top 32s, you see his name there quite consistently. And there's a reason that he's 17th on the leaderboard in spite of not having a deep resume of top 8s in Invitational and Open Series events.
He does travel to quite a bit of the events. I mean, I'm trying to honestly think of the last time we haven't seen Caleb at one of our Open Series events. He goes to generally all of them, East Coast, West Coast, wherever we are. And as you mentioned, a lot of top 16, a lot of top 32s, but he's trying to just break through in the top 8s.
Definitely Modern and Legacy. I mean, the formats where he gets to play Storm decks, we're much more inclined to see him. And as you mentioned, I don't remember the last one of those events, certainly, that he skipped.
Well, Andrew Jessup will be on the play. It's a tough draw for him this early in the day number 2. Storm is just generally a turn faster than him. That was Jessup's, I don't want to say it was his best draw, but it's certainly one of his best draws.
And game 1, Caleb has the more disruptive deck of the 2.
Yeah.
He has some discard spells. Post-board, Jessup can slow him down a little bit. The problem is that all these discard spells do dilute his combo, which is why cards like Scavenging Ooze, which do have some utility, sure, does use his graveyard for a number of things, I would just be worried about diluting the deck too much, because I think Jessup needs to be a little disruptive, but still try to present a turn 3, turn 4 kill as consistently as he can. He can't play that long of a game.
And Jessup will take a look at his opening hand here. We'll see if he finds something that he likes. Again, in a matchup like this, you know, one of the things that Elves does a really nice job of is a resilient combo deck. You know, you can play the game with Wirewith Symbiote and Elvish Visionaries we've seen so many times, be able to draw a lot of cards, Glimpse of Nature, all that stuff. But in this particular matchup, it's really all about speed.
Yep.
The resiliency doesn't really play much of a role here, as it looks like both players are going to take a mulligan.
Yeah, the Wirewith Symbiote Elvish Visionary package that plays such a critical role in beating removal strategies, that's not really a thing here. It's just how fast can you get to a lethal Critterhoof Behemoth.
And pardon me, Andrew taking a mulligan, Caleb taking a long look at his hand. So unclear if he's going to keep his 7 on. He will keep his 7. Elves a deck that got really popular, I feel like, at the beginning of the year. Feels like it's trended downward a little bit. The Miracles matchup, not particularly good. The Lands matchup, I don't think is very good.
It doesn't seem that exciting to me.
I don't want to play against a card like Tabernacle. Don't have a lot of interaction with them either. You know, they can find Tabernacle pretty consistently.
Glacial Chasm, I think, is the larger problem of the two.
That's bad news as well.
Because Tabernacle, you can at least burst and kill in one turn. Glacial Chasm, if that lock piece is going, there's not a whole lot of ways to get out.
Not a lot else can do about the 20/20 either.
No, they don't block flyers or kill things.
Yeah.
Or gain life, so that's problematic too.
We'll see if Jessup can find a 6-card hand that he's happy with.
And we've seen a lot of Storm lately too, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
matchup is not pleasant for Elves either.
Well, it's another mulligan here for Jessup. Again, for me, this isn't too surprising because you're just looking for specific cards.
Yes. Jessup's hand of, you know, lands and some creatures, a reasonable mix of stuff that doesn't have a path for a fast kill. Those are hands you can keep in a lot of matchup. This is not one of them. He's looking for specific cards because time is not on his side and he needs to be able to present a turn 3 kill or be very disruptive.
Andrew, of course, the brother of Danny Jessup, both seeing a lot of success on the Open Series. The younger of the two at 19 years of age, 3 Open Series top 8, so does have a runner-up finish with Elves as well. Former competitive baseball player, a hip-hop fanatic. I'm sure you guys would get along great.
We commiserated a little bit.
Yeah.
Our tastes are not exactly the same,
No.
but, you know, we still had a good conversation about it.
And Andrew is a self-proclaimed best player in the house. Always a fun debate between brothers.
The hip-hop problem is just there's a pretty big age gap between me and Andrew.
Well,
so we just grew up listening to different stuff.
He's 19 and you're like 100, so.
Pretty close to 100.
Yeah, so there's just going to be a gap there.
Right.
Will 5 cards work here for Andrew? He's happy enough. The Vancouver mulligan will allow him to scribe the top card to the bottom. I thought for a minute there Andrew just said go. Maybe kept a no-lander. Caleb was maybe thinking the same thing.
I think Andrew was waiting for potentially some sort of ley line action there.
Sure. There's a Green Sun Zenith. That'll find Dryad Arbor. Much like the last game here for Jessup. There is the land, and we pass the turn back over to Caleb Scherer. Ad nauseum the first draw step. It being in his hand last game was just fine. We'll see if it works again this game, as there's a Scalding Tarn. There's a Lion's Eye Diamond, and now just pass the turn back. It's always interesting. Sometimes you'll see Storm players play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Sometimes you'll see them hold it. When you do know you're playing against discard from Elves after sideboard, you might want to get it out of your hand.
I mean, there's an argument for that. I would err on the side of keeping it in hand because Jessup could easily have a Reclamation Sage floating around somewhere in his deck.
Sure.
And it's not like, and Scherer's got, I think he's got Brainstorm, so he's not that vulnerable to a discard spell right now. My instinct would be just keep Lion's Eye Diamond in hand, but there's a number of variables. Something Caleb's playing around that's not necessarily on my radar right now.
Another Green Sun Zenith in hand here for Andrew Jessup. He'll play a Windswept Heath. Gonna sacrifice that. A Bayou. And now a Zenith. That'll be for 1. That'll search up a Deathrite Shaman.
A lot of mana to work with.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. He's actually doing pretty good with mana. I'm going to slide across here for 1 point of damage with the Arbor. Just unclear if there's any payoff here. He only has 2 cards left, giving the mulligan to 5.
He's probably playing towards something, because if he just wanted to, you know, if he was just in the market to amass a just critical mass of resources, he would probably just Zenith for an Elvish Visionary.
Sure.
The fact that he got Deathrite Shaman instead implies to me that there's actually something he's playing towards.
Well, Chain of Vapor is going to take care of the Deathrite Shaman momentarily.
And this card here, it does do some work in slowing down Jessup. It's also just a good insurance policy in the event that Jessup has brought in some weird permanent that prevents Scherer from going off.
Either Sworn Canonist, Gaddock Teague, something weird.
Yeah, you don't know for sure. So if Jessup has nothing, it's unsummon, not the end of the world. And if he's got something, you're happy to have it.
A Brainstorm here for Scherer is going to start his 2nd turn. He'll have to put 2 cards back. I know he's found his Tendrils and his Ad Nauseam. Typically, you want those in the deck, not in hand. You can play towards them if they're in your hand. It looks like Ad Nauseam and Tendrils are going to go back here, though a little bit of math to be done by Caleb. He does have a fetch land and Polluted Delta to make it a good Brainstorm. Put some of the garbage away. Yep, it looks like Tendrils on the bottom, Ad Nauseam on top, Brainstorm done resolving. Now we see what's next. Looks like he's going to go with an island. And now he's going to play, it looks like maybe Preordain.
Yep. This is a way to engineer your own Brainstorm shuffle if you want to.
He could also have interest in maybe keeping one of these cards, like the Ad Nauseam and putting the Tendrils to the bottom.
Yeah,
Yep.
which appears to be the case. I was going to say, if you wanted to put both on the bottom, I think you're better off just sacrificing a Polluted Delta and keeping the Preordain in hand. But Preordain's a better way to do it if you want to split 1-1.
Now we're back to Jessup. His Deathrite Shaman got bounced via Chain of Vapor last turn, so he's got nothing going right now.
Well, I'm interested to see what his turn is going to be now, because he could have Zenith for 2 for a Visionary last turn, and then tried to play after you mulligan to 5. So the fact that he got Deathrite Shaman means I think there's something specific going on.
There's Nettle Sentinel. Here's Quirion Ranger. Untap, return, untap. Dried Arbor come across for 1. Well, it's a pretty healthy board, and a setup here for Natural Order, potentially a kill next turn.
Yeah, but I mean, Caleb's been kind of chilling here, just setting up for 2 turns. I would be surprised if we got back to Jessup's turn.
Well, here's Gataxian Probe. Crater Hoof. Not quite what the doctor ordered. Duress the draw.
Also not quite what the doctor ordered.
Very true. There's Polluted Delta. That'll find an Underground Sea. Obviously not going to fire off Duress. Hand's a little strange right now for Scherer. Does have Dark Ritual and Infernal Tutor. So we could just see Dark Rit into Ad Nauseam, crack the Lion's Eye Diamond, and go from there. That's 3 black.
So he would be doing this with 1 mana floating if he goes for Ad Nauseam?
So if he casts Dark Ritual, that's 3.
Yep.
Use the other 2, that's 5. Ad Nauseam, crack the Lion's Eye Diamond with Ad Nauseam on the stack, so he'll have 3 mana left. Because he doesn't need to Infernal Tutor.
Oh, he has Ad Nauseam
in his hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes. Then yes, he could do this with 3, which is a lot better than doing it with 1.
He hasn't played a land yet for the turn. 3 black floating. He's at 14, but this is a pretty safe spot, though down to 10 now. Let's make it 9. Let's make it 8. That's Reign of Filth.
Reign of Filth's pretty good in this spot. I mean, it is just Dark Ritual.
6.
He can use Lotus Petal to get red. He has a lot of ways to generate more black mana, plus Pass and Flames. I think he's good here.
Yep. Here's Reign of Filth.
Filthy.
It's a lot of things. Filthy does count. Cabal Ritual now. That's spell 5.
Dark Ritual with the added benefit of now Scherer gets to win with no permanents in play.
Ah. And that's the real prize.
That's the prize.
Yeah. Here's Past in Flames. He's going to get to cast all these rituals from his graveyard again. Keep in mind, Deathrite Shaman right now, not active. Was cast last turn. So Cabal Ritual will be cast from the graveyard along with a couple of other rituals here. We know there's a Dark Ritual down there. Could even recast Reign of Filth. It doesn't double up, but I'm just saying you can recast it. Infernal Tutor going to be recast. And that will... No, because he has cards in hand. He has the 3 cards in his hand, 2 Deltas and a Preordain.
Oh, sure.
So he has to search... Oh, no. So he has to search for a Preordain. And he doesn't have another Preordain to find. I think he just plays 1 Preordain in his list.
Okay. See if there's another way to do this.
Yeah,
now.
I don't know if he's... He hasn't played a land yet this turn. I don't know if he's... Okay, here's a Gataxian Probe. Oh, no.
A bad sign if this is happening.
Yeah. I think that's a Lotus Petal.
Worst case scenario is the Lotus Petal lets him preordain.
Yeah, Jessup's like, I have a Crater of P, but that's my hand, so I have a lot going. Okay, here's Lotus Petal. And he just thought he had no cards in his hand. So now he's got to get really creative.
It's a good thing he didn't sag his lands to Reign of Filth.
Not yet. All right, here's Brainstorm off the pedal. Spell count is, you got plenty of those. You need some help, though. Brainstorm, Lion's Eye Diamond, Infernal Tutor.
All right, he's good.
I think he backdoored his way right back into it. There's Lion's Eye Diamonds. There's Infernal Tutor. Stack it correctly, plenty of mana. And now you get the Demonic Tutor for Tendrils of Agony, as he wanted to previously. And now he gets to finish Andrew Jessup off. Caleb Scherer going to win this match here over to Andrew Jessup. It got a little dicey there for a second. A little dicey. But he does win 2-0. Storm will take care of Elves. It's early. I think you need to get him a coffee.
Yep. I mean, it's a matchup that's tough for Elves. A mulligan 5 for Jessup there, and no disruption in game number 2 certainly doesn't help, and even some less than smooth operations there from Scherer in game 2. Not enough to upend him.